Hello friends, today I am going to discuss about extraction, isolation and the chemistry of digoxin. But before watching this video, I will strongly recommend you to watch my previous videos on chemistry of natural products. Link of those videos or link of the playlist is given in the description. Now coming to the introduction of digoxin. So this will be the contents which contains introduction, isolation, chemistry, phytochemical test and the uses. So coming to the introduction. So digoxin is isolated from Digitalis purpurea leaves, which is belonging to the family Scrophulariaceae. This is the structure of digoxin and this is the IUPAC nomenclature of digoxin. So in the structure you can see that it contains mainly steroidal ring, which is a basic nucleus, and apart from this it contains a 5-membered lactone ring. We will discuss about this ring later. So coming to the isolation of digoxin. So here you can see that first we will take the Digitalis purpurea leaves, dried leaves, then we will reduce the size of those Digitalis purpurea leaves. After that we will remove the fatty materials present in the Digitalis purpurea leaves by treatment or by extraction with petroleum ether. So when we will extract this crude drug, Digitalis crude drug with petroleum ether, then all fatty materials present in the leaves or crude drug will be removed. So here petroleum ether extract will be discarded and digestion of defatted material, which is crude drug, with water, and after digestion extracted more with several water and ethanol mixture. So after digestion we will add further amount of water and ethanol mixture for proper separation or proper extraction of the glycoside or digoxin. After that we will filter this above mixture, and after filtration we will get filtrate, and then we will concentrate the filtrate to a small volume and distilled under vacuum. So after this process we will get concentrated extract, which is treated with lead acetate to precipitate out tannins. So when we will add lead acetate in this concentrated extract, so tannins will be precipitated out as lead tannate and which will be separated out. So again we will filter, and after that we will get filtrate, and the filtrate will be taken and the removal of alcohol by vacuum distillation. So filtrate will be again vacuum distillated, and after vacuum distillation we will take the aqueous solution or aqueous part. After that aqueous part is further extracted in a separating funnel with chloroform, and after that we will take the chloroform layer, and that chloroform layer will be washed by using distilled water, then 2 normal hydrochloric acid, then 2 normal sodium carbonate respectively. And after washing we will discard all these washings, so that in next step we will take the chloroform layer and evaporate this chloroform layer under vacuum. Now in next step this evaporated or concentrated chloroform layer will be taken, then it will be put into the column chromatography for separation of digoxin, and here we will use the particular solvent system, and that will be the mixture of chloroform and methanol, and it will be present in graded proportion, means gradually we will increase the proportion of chloroform and methanol. So finally we will get the separated digoxin, which will be identified by using suitable spectral methods. Here we can use UV, we can use combination of ultraviolet visible spectroscopy, FTIR spectroscopy, mass spectrometry and NMR spectroscopy. So by combining all the data of these 4 spectroscopy, we can predict the structure of digoxin and we can identify the digoxin. So this is the isolation of digoxin. Now coming to the chemistry of digoxin. So here molecular formula for digoxin is C41H64O14 and the molecular weight will be 780. So here we will multiply 41 into 12 because molecular weight of carbon is 12. Here 64 into 1 because molecular weight of hydrogen is 1, and 14 into 16. So after multiplying all these three, we will add all the results. After that we will get the result of 780, which will be the molecular weight of digoxin. And as you know, this is the structure of digoxin. Here you can see that this is the basic nucleus, which is a sterol ring or sterol nucleus, and here at the 17th position one 5-membered lactone ring is attached. If you want to see the numbering of this structure, then it will be like this. This will be the first position, then second, then third, then fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th. In 10th position one methyl group is attached, that is CH3. 11th, 12th. In 12th position one OH group is attached. 13. In 13th position one CH3 group is attached. 14. In 14th position one OH hydroxyl group is present. 15, 16 and 17. And here you can see that in 17th position one lactone ring is present, and this will be the IUPAC nomenclature for this digoxin. So this is the basic structure of the digoxin. This CH3 group will be named as 18th position, and this will be named as 19th position. Now coming to the next step. So catalytic reduction gives the saturated lactone ring. So here you can see that in the structure of digoxin, you can see that this is the lactone ring, and here one double bond is present, means it is unsaturated. And if we will do catalytic reduction, then H2 will be added, and after that we will get saturated lactone ring. Here we will get saturated lactone ring. Here you can see that double bond is present. Now after addition of H2, double bond is removed. So it means one double bond is present in the structure of digoxin, which is present in the lactone ring, which is present here. Now coming to the next step. So here treatment with alkali gives the acid in simple analogues, which is a hydrolysis product, and the cardenolite can be regenerated on acidification. So this is the structure of digoxin, and here you can see that lactone ring is present, and in the presence of dilute KOH, which is an alkali, gives acidic analog. This is the acidic analog. Here you can see that COOH is present, which means it is acidic in nature. And if it will be reversed, means if this structure will be treated with acid, then cardenolite will be regenerated, means again it will form the structure of digoxin. Now coming to the next step. So here oxidation with permanganate in ketone gives the ationic acid, while ozone oxidation gives the 2021 ketol. The 2021 ketol provides a direct route to some cortical steroid side chain. So if we will take the digoxin, then if we will treat this digoxin with KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate, so it will be oxidized and it will be converted in the form of ationic acid. This is the characteristic of digoxin. Now in second step, if we will oxidize this digoxin by using ozone, that is O3, then it will be converted in the form of 2021 ketol, and here it is written that the 2021 ketol provides a direct route to some cortical steroid side chain, means by using this structure or by this path some steroid, cortical steroid can be synthesized. Now coming to the next step. So here effect of heat. So if we will heat the digoxin, then tertiary OH group present at C14 position is split off as water, leading to the formation of inactive anhydrous form of digoxin. So here this is the structure of digoxin, and if we will heat this digoxin, so one H2O will be removed from this digoxin, because this OH group will be removed, and ultimately it will be converted in the form of this one. And this structure will be the inactive anhydrous form of digoxin. So it will not show any activity because here hydroxyl group is removed from the digoxin. So this will be the effect of heat on digoxin. Now coming to the phytochemical test for digoxin. So here various phytochemical tests are used for identification of digoxin. So first one is Keller-Killiani test. So for Keller-Killiani test, first we will take the sample containing glycosides. Then we will dissolve this sample in glacial acetic acid which contains traces of ferric chloride solution. After that we will add few drops of concentrated H2SO4. Then it will form two layers. One layer will be upper layer and second one will be the lower layer. So if upper layer shows light bluish green color and the lower layer will be transparent, and at the junction of two layer if we are getting reddish brown color, it means digoxin or cardiac glycosides are present. So this Keller-Killiani test is especially for cardiac glycoside. Now coming to the second phytochemical test, which is Baljet's test. So here same we will take the sample containing glycoside and the amount of sample will be 1 ml. Then we will add 2 drops of picric acid solution. After that, make this above solution alkaline by using NaOH, and we will check that solution for alkalinity, means whether it is alkaline or acidic, by using a litmus paper. And if we will ensure that it is alkaline in nature, then it turns to yellow to orange color if digoxin or cardiac glycoside will be present. So this Baljet test is also used for detection of cardiac glycosides. Now coming to the Raymond's test, which is especially for sterol nucleus. So first we will take the sample containing glycoside and the amount of sample will be again 1 ml. Then we will add 1 to 2 drops of 10% NaOH solution. Then we will add few drops of 1% metadinitrobenzene. If we are getting pink color, it means sterol nucleus is present, and as you know in the structure of digoxin, sterol nucleus is present, so it will give positive Raymond's test. Now coming to the next test, which is Kedde's test. It is again for sterol nucleus. So first we will take the sample containing glycoside, which is again 1 ml, amount of sample will be 1 ml. Then we will add few drops of 1% solution of 3,5-dinitrobenzoic acid. Then we will add few drops of 0.5 normal NaOH aqueous methanolic solution. After that, if we are getting purple color at the end, it means again sterol nucleus is present, and as you know in the structure of digoxin, sterol nucleus is present, so it will again give the positive Kedde's test. Now coming to the next test, that is Legal's test. So first we will take the crude drug extract containing glycoside. Then we will dissolve this extract in the pyridine and the filtered. After filtration we will take the pyridine layer. Then we will add NaOH and the sodium nitroprusside alternatively. After that, if we are getting blood red color, it means unsaturated lactone ring is present, and in the structure of digoxin, one lactone ring is present which is unsaturated because one double bond is present. So these are the phytochemical tests for identification of digoxin. Now coming to the uses of digoxin. So today the most common indication for digoxin are atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter with rapid ventricular response, though beta blockers and or calcium channel blockers are a better first choice. So this digoxin is used in this atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter. Now coming to the second use. So digoxin is no longer the first choice of congestive heart failure, but can still be useful in patient who remains symptomatic despite proper diuretic and angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor treatment. So it is also used for CHF. Now coming to the third use. So digoxin is also used for abortions intrafetally or amniotically in the late second trimester and the third trimester of pregnancy. Means digoxin can be also used for abortion. It typically causes fetal demise by measured by ending of cardiac activity. Means it will end the cardiac activity of the fetal within hours of administration. Means rapidly it will end the cardiac activity of the fetal. So it is used for abortions in the second trimester, late second trimester and third trimester. So this is the complete details about digoxin. Now in my next video I will discuss the details about quercetin, which is a flavonoid. Thank you.